Okay. So, to start with, we'll just discuss some points which you guys are facing, difficulties or anything as such, related to your job search. I believe most of you are in your second semester or first semester, and we would be looking for uh, internships currently, summer internships, for which I would want to say this one point. This is the peak point where you should not give up on applications, because the companies which create openings are actually looking for people right now, and they speed up their process of hiring currently because they have to get people till April end or May. So currently in this month and April month, you should actually not give up and increase the pace of your applications. So Bernie, any points on those?
Yes, so the whole point, and by the way, thank you for coordinating this, Pushkraj. The point of this call is to really answer the questions that you guys had, especially with the application process, because sometimes it's always good to get a fresh set of eyes or to hear other perspectives. And part of this isn't necessarily career services, just giving you information, but we give you guys the information, and guess who is applying it, and guess who knows what the latest information. So career services knows the information theoretically, so to speak, but once we teach it to you guys, you're the guys applying it. So the value in having a group of students like this is you are the appliers, if you will, of the information that's given to you. So that's why we like to have these calls. Sure, you came here because there was a certain way we can teach you the theory, but at the end of the day, we collectively get better in our job search because of best practices. So that was my addition.
Okay. So yeah. So next thing I would say that one of the most important things about applications, and where the companies in which you really want uh, a job, or are you're looking for. So first of all, can we have some difficulties which you guys are facing? If you can unmute and just tell us.
Yeah, I guess what were you, you obviously had an idea
Yeah.
of what we were talking about during this call when you saw the notice. So we would like to hear what it is that you came here for so that we could address that specifically within the next hour. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So I started a job application at the beginning of February. Like I have my CV. I think it's good. Like it has some vices for sure, but I think it's good. And like yet I received literally none answer. Like I think I sent over 200 applications just on Chicago area because I'm graduating in August. So I want to do my summer internship on Chicago. And when I will be graduating, I would like to find it on the US. So yeah.
All right, very good. Thank you for sharing that, Gabriel.
Anyone else? Nandini?
So when I try to apply for jobs, I try to customize my resume when I see the requirements and description. So when I followed this method, even after like 2 hours, I would have applied hardly for like 7 to 10 companies, or sometimes when 5 companies, not more than that. So I know I'm following quality over quantity, but sometimes I feel this is not sufficient because within the next 3 or 4 days, I'll get rejections of all of those for all of those applications. So I want to know if I should just blindly apply for a n number of applications, jobs, and then customize for few more if I should follow both quality and quantity method.
Okay. And anything from last year?
No, no for now.
Okay.
No addition for last year. Let me make a comment on what Gabriel and Nandini shared. So usually for the case that you guys talked about, you feel that your documentation is good. So part of why you come to career services is to get a fresh set of eyes. What I like to do when I talk to students is really to spot check, especially with the results that you're getting. Okay, we already know that it's a tough market out there, but it's like troubleshooting a problem. So we want to check what it is that you're sending out so that when we give you a fresh look at it, we can kind of like see telltale signs of number one, why you're not getting results. But I've also had cases where in a vacuum, I would take a look at a student's documentation and it looks great, looks fabulous. And then I would like hit it from another angle and then we find a problem. So that's what I'm hoping we could do during this discussion as well, as it aligns with whatever Pushkraj had in mind with the rest of the call.
Okay. So, I'm glad that you guys brought these points because the next point is you have to divide your applications in maybe two, three, or four parts. One would be like there's some job opening which you're not really confident you would get it. So you just upload your base resume. For example, as Nandini said, she uh, edits it in every application. But if you think you're not going to, if some application has 5+ years experience or 3+ years experience, and you are, I'm just giving an example, and you're editing it, or if it is something which is like pretty different from your experiences, your projects, then there's no point investing a lot of time in that. So the first category would be uh, you just apply in these kind of applications just to increase your number. Second category would be you have some 50 to 70% chance of getting it. It is relevant to your projects, experiences, um, and for this, you will have to edit according to your job description. Also, additionally, what you have to do is uh, so this would lead us to the next business relation points, but I'll just tell you in short for now, is that you have to reach out to hiring managers, to people in the company for knowing and connecting with them and knowing what is going on in the company, and also basically increasing your chances of getting in. So, what this would do is that if you click with someone and he's impressed with you, maybe internally he'll reach out to that specific hiring manager, and then he will maybe ask him for considering your application. What do you mean by considering your application? Is that you basically would be given a chance for interview. So, and which is all the which is actually what you want. So after that, it's up to you. But for internships, uh, getting the call is one of the only thing which is important. You can crack it later. And third category would be your dream companies, maybe Google, Amazon, Meta, these kind of companies in which you already know that people are reaching out to hiring managers, software engineers, uh, and it's highly unlikely that you will get there. So, how to approach these kind of companies is that you don't apply for those jobs. What you do uh, a cold mailing, a reach out to different kind of employees, software engineers, hiring managers, and try to get to know what projects they are working on, what is happening in the company, and then you build your profile according to that. So, for example, Google. I want to get into Google. Everyone wants to get into Google. But if you're applying with your projects and experiences which are not really there in Google, then there's no point. But if you know what's happening in Google and you make a project of your own, and then there's a job opening after, say, 2 months, 3 months, then you put your resume. Obviously, this will be more efficient. Is that right? So, the third category, I would say, would be this, in which you apply this reverse psychology, in which you be a part of the company and then you apply for it. And also, if in case someone is impressed with your project's experience, then obviously you'll get a interview call. And additionally to this, I learned this from Bernie, that we can maintain an Excel sheet of people on LinkedIn which you reach out to. So it's not just like you just message them once and that's done. You have to keep on getting back to them, knowing about it, knowing what's happening, basically build your relations. So that leads us to our next topic, which is business relations.
Actually, Pushkraj, let's unpack that for a second, what you just shared, because that's quite a
Yeah.
few people have ideas, and I see that Lasya made a comment. Sritaj, welcome to the call, by the way. Lasya said she agreed with what you said. Sometimes we think too much to match with a description that might lead to invest more time unnecessarily. That happened. That's true. Okay. Um, Pushkraj said something that for the bigger companies, and I want to make sure that you guys don't get the wrong impression. He kind of said those companies, they're big, don't apply for it, because it sounded like just the first time I heard it was don't apply to them because they're bigger. However, Pushkraj went on further to say that you really need to understand what it is that they're looking for, and then you make sure that you align what you have as far as what you have to offer the company, and then you apply. So I guess let me just clarify that it's not necessarily that you can't reach out for these, dream companies, if you will. And what I heard Pushkraj say is that it's a different approach. That's why he kind of like had different buckets of all these companies that he applied for. At the end of the day, this is your job search. So there is no one way to attack this. I like that, Pushkraj had some methodology in how to approach, the different companies. I come from the mindset that, you guys are very busy as students. So if you had like one category versus another, to me, I don't know, maybe Pushkraj has it that he doesn't have to do a lot of work. But to me, when I put them in buckets, it's kind of different. And Lasya, when you said that you might take more time in customizing it, what did you mean by that exactly? Is that because you didn't have a handle on what you're doing, or that you get carried away when you start customizing?
Yeah, so basically, the point I have told is regarding Nandini's comment, because she might have talent or skills according to that job description. She applied to many jobs and she faced rejection. And what she did, she changed the way and she started applying to particular companies, but that taking too much time to tailor the resume. So I have connected with my experience to her that we overthink about the job description sometimes, and we end up wasting so much time and not applying to many companies. So what I want to say to her, or like to people like me, is just take your time. Don't take more time to invest on tailoring your resume, because recently I faced this issue while applying on campus jobs, and it doesn't even matter for me. Like, it doesn't create any more thing in my resume that I have invested more time in. There's nothing different. Like, I can do it in maybe 20-30 minutes, but I took more than an hour to do that. So I agree with the Pushkraj point to divide with the job applications, and then go with that. So it makes us to apply more jobs and saving much time.
Okay. I, on the other hand, disagree. Okay. from the standpoint of you applying, actually, I want to do a spot check on the documents that Gabriel and Nandini are sending out. Because if you think about it from a logical standpoint, okay, if you do not take the time to address what it is that you're looking for, because you want to send out more applications, your application now becomes general. Okay, think about it from the perspective of the person reading your documents. I already told you what I'm looking for in the job description. If you did not take the time or to tailor it, because to you, it seems like it's a lot of time that it's invested. And I'm not disagreeing with that, okay? Because it takes a lot of time to tailor it. But I guess what I'm cautioning you guys is if you generalize it. So stand by, Gabriel and Nandini. I would like to see your resume really quick and give you a first impression, and just to see, you know, whether it's good or not. All right. So I guess this is kind of good because we're kind of like seeing it from different points. Lasya,
Sir,
did you?
where can I send you my resume?
No, you don't send it. You're just going to share your screen and then we're going to look at it. Okay. Nandini, you could do the same thing. Lasya, did you have
Yes.
anything else to add to what I said also?
No, sir.
Okay, because you said you had a problem with your on-campus job, so you were tailoring it and you didn't even get an interview. Is that what you're saying?
No. Yesterday I have give interview. It's not like I telling that we sometimes people like me overthink about the
Okay.
job
Just
description.
you're
That's
just
what I'm
making a
just
general comment.
general
That
statement.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, very good, very good. So Pushkraj, I'll let you lead this. So whenever, because I don't know your agenda, or whenever you want Gabriel or Nandini to see it, because I want to see it really quick to give them a first impression as well for what my gut feel is based on what it is that they're sending out. So
Yeah.
I guess you lead that, Pushkraj.
I can share my resume right now if you want.
Is it good?
Sure.
Is it a good time, Pushkraj?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. What's the job title that you're applying for, Gabriel?
I'm applying for
Internship?
yeah, internship in AI, data science, also computer vision. I mean, this field. I
Okay.
mean,
So I see you're applying for internship, education, coursework, okay, and then you talked about that. Cool. 4.0 standing out, slowly down, skills. So when you take a look at the information that's in the job description, is everything that you have in skills and even the coursework that you mentioned something they are looking for in the job description?
well, the problem is, I mean, I think this
Okay,
is
hang
my
on a
problem.
second. Hang on, Gabriel. It's a yes or no question, all right? I repeat the question. I want an answer. I don't want an explanation. Okay, and I'll tell you really shortly why I don't want an explanation. So I repeat what I said. Whatever you have written in this document, and Nandini, be on standby because I'm going to ask you the same question. So everything that I'm looking at, because you put coursework, you took the time to put coursework in 3 subjects, and then you have skills. So here's the question, Gabriel. When you look at the job description, is everything that you wrote in this resume that you're showing me what they said they wanted? Is that a yes or a no?
No.
Okay, that's a problem. Okay, this is to the point that I was talking about with Lasya, okay, that we said earlier. If you don't tailor your documents, here's the confusion, Gabriel. People put their resumes together, and the confusing part is because we think it's a document about us, we simply give them all the information about us. That's a problem because number one, they're very busy. Okay, so the people who are reading your resume are looking for what they said they want. If they look at your resume and they do not see anything that they said they want, guess what happens to your resume? It disappears. So we kind of like found the first problem, Gabriel. Okay, we can work some more about that. I don't want to push away Pushkraj's agenda. Can we go to Nandini now, please?
Yes, I'll share my screen.
And then Sritej requested to have a first look as well, really quick. So Nandini, go first, and then Sritej, and then we'll go back to Pushkraj. So we kind of like found one of the problems already, Gabriel. You said you sent it to quite a few people, and they're not giving you calls. I already found a problem area. All right, we can address that. That's good. Nandini, could you please make it bigger?
Okay.
Data analyst, thank you. Information visualization. Okay. You use the summary, but you're not maximizing the use of the summary. Nandini, we can help you with that.
Okay.
I repeat the
Okay.
same question about technical skills and then the information that you have in your bullets. I repeat the question that I asked Gabriel. In the job descriptions that you're looking at, are everything that I'm looking at so far within the skills and within your bullets? Are those what they're looking for in the job descriptions you're applying to?
No,
Okay.
but that's why I customize every time I apply.
Yes. Okay. So when you customize, would your answer to that question have been yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So there could be another problem area, and I know exactly where to look at. So my eyes go from the top to the bottom of the resume. I'm looking at the first thing my eyes are going to see are graduate research assistant. It talks about implementing, let's go back. Implementing reinforcement learning techniques. So, and then designing reward structure. So you see that graduate research assistant, did that cover what the job description is looking for?
Not
Yes
fully,
or
but
no,
it
please?
covers partially,
Okay,
yes.
but you see where I'm going. Did you notice how you're trying to explain this to me, Nandini? The problem with a resume is you cannot explain. Okay, and I saw another problem area, Nandini. If you want to stand out from other applicants, you need to talk about your results and don't just give blanket statements like your first statement. Said implementing reinforcement learning techniques, you're just describing. But Nandini isn't necessarily standing out because you didn't tell me the results as a graduate research assistant. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so that's like one of the problems that I see with your graduate research assistant. Let me give you a second chance. Let me take a look at the Oracle, right? Cerner, design, implemented. Okay, this is much better. You said design, implemented, evaluated, and then you talked about achieving 20% increase. So this is what I was looking for in the graduate research assistant. But you see the general problem that I see, Nandini, is that my eyes go to the first thing that I see. You kind of quote unquote wasted my attention, and then you kind of lost points in the first thing that I saw. Okay.
Right. Got it.
And then in the
Yes.
second part that I saw, then now you're talking about, oh, she's pretty good. So another suggestion I would give you, Nandini, is you start with your results first. You notice how you said design, implemented, and evaluated? I would start that bullet by saying achieve 20% increase and then give the rest of everything else. Okay, this isn't necessarily a resume workshop, but to address what you guys said at the beginning of this call, you said, oh, I've sent out all these resumes and I'm not getting any calls. Well, I'm seeing some problems already in the resumes that you have. They're not problems. Most people actually write the resumes the way you guys do. But the reason we're having this conversation is I want to make you much, much more efficient so that you, Nandini, so that you, Gabriel, stand out. You kind of see where we're going with this. All right, a quick look at Sritej, and then we'll go back to Pushkraj's agenda.
Yeah, sure.
Are you guys learning anything, Gabriel and Nandini?
I have a question,
Yes.
actually. I have a question, actually.
ahead.
Would you recommend to put education first or work experience first? Because
I
I
will
saw
say that,
on the career service resources that you put education first.
No, we didn't say that.
We
didn't say that, okay? Here's the general answer, Gabriel. You have to study what it is that they're looking for. It's the same discussion we had with Lasya in the beginning, right? It's about tailoring the resume. To tailor a resume, you need to understand what they're looking for. So if they're looking for an intern, they're probably looking for your education, right? But if you're applying for a full-time job, do not start with education. Start with your experiences.
Okay.
So you see how it's not a one-size-fits-all, Gabriel?
Yeah.
It depends on what your target is. It depends on what their job description is saying. Make sense? We'll give you some more resources after this. Plus, we're in communication. Sritej, are you applying for full-time or internship?
It's for internship right now.
Internship? Okay, so you have education. Okay, I want you to give me feedback on your research assistant because it's the same feedback I gave Nandini. What did you hear me say?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you actually.
Nandini, repeat what I told you, because Sritej's research assistant is kind of similar to what you did that I gave you a comment on. Nandini, what's the
Yes.
comment?
So it shouldn't be generic. We should talk about it should be quantitative. How much results we gain, more like 20% efficiency or something like that. It should be more specific and not a general description of what we're doing.
Did you catch that, Sritej? And I
Yeah, I got that.
noticed you did the same exact thing as Nandini did, because your Android developer was like Nandini's second part. She had all her results in the second job. The problem, however, is when I take a look at the very top of the resume, because ICE go from top to bottom, right? Your first part isn't
Yeah.
very impressive.
Okay.
You see how this is kind of like a strategy game. You got to be on top of your game from the very beginning, and scroll back up to the very top of the resume. I'll tell you off the bat, Nandini, you had the same issue. Your summaries are not taking advantage of that real estate on top of the resume. You're giving very generic statements. That's not making you stand out. So I'm going to give you resources after this call or somewhere in between to make that even more powerful. And it's actually in the index with #resume. Make sense,
Gotcha.
Sritej?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to
Should I
make
go
this a
down?
resume workshop. We'll go back to Pushkraj, please.
Yeah, sure. We had this too actually, but it's okay. So just to summarize, I would say just to summarize, use your summaries well. How to use your summaries well? You can actually take everything from job description and find it, make it relevant to your profile and just put it so that it plays in your advantage because it's at the first.
Yeah, and to
Second
make
thing,
it to your advantage, you have to talk about your results, Nandini and Sritej. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So even in your summary, start talking about your results, because these guys are very busy. They don't have a whole lot of time. So the strategy, Gabriel, is you're very strategic at the top of your resume to talk about your results immediately. Gabriel, I forgot. Did you have a summary?
Yeah, I just said that I'm looking for a summer internship.
Yeah. So you see how general that is? I mean, of course, they'd be like, of course you're looking for a job. That's why you're sending me your resume. So did you see how you waste their time, right? Not to your advantage. Okay, sorry, Pushkraj, back to you.
so second point would be follow the reverse chronology as well as put most relevant information first. So you have to find a way to trying to uh, tailor it in such a way that both the things are followed. Third point would be result oriented, as Bernie pointed out. Some of you didn't have the star system followed, in which you talk about your results compared to the job, what you did in that job, quantitatively. Third would be clearer format. Try to get rid of everything which is not relevant to the job description. Just keep it in short if you feel that it will be somehow be a transferable skill to that specific job description. Yeah, that's about it. So
Awesome. I was curious if anybody had any questions. It
yeah.
sounds like the issue that we're focusing on is the entry into the job search, which happens to be the resume. And I guess if that's the people that we have on the call, let's address those issues if they did. Are there any quick questions from Gabriel, Nandini, and Sritej, and even Lasya? Lasya didn't say anything about resume, but no general questions? All right, back to you, Pushkraj.
Nandini, you were saying something?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about the resume, but I want to know how important is having a portfolio. I see a lot of students have a portfolio, but since resume is the first thing they take a look at, and only after that qualifies, then they go check the portfolio.
What's your
In case if
major,
you have all the
Nandini?
AI,
Okay, so you're, all right, I thought you were architecture because you said portfolio. So, but obviously, yeah, AI could also have a portfolio. The quick answer to your question is You need to address what it is that they're looking for in the job description. Portfolios are good supporting information. However, if the information in your portfolio is spot on, exactly what you're looking for, then you would have to take a different approach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So portfolio to me is general supporting information because it's the resume that gets you in the door. It's not your portfolio, right? But I
Yes.
addressed the case that if your portfolio was heavy on what they were looking for, then you have to be creative to somehow present that within the resume. Last, you had a question.
I think Nandini wants like portfolio. She meant maybe personal website. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the personal website portfolio.
Yeah, like not the something related to architecture people.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
like
no. I
yeah,
got that. I
yeah,
know it's a
personal
website,
website.
and I know you
I
guys, and
can
that's
take that
exactly
question if you
why
want.
I said what I said.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I got that one.
So
Should I take that
so
question if
I
you
just
want?
want okay, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Lasa.
As for the like personal website, I think it would add a advantage because we can't express all the things that we want to say in resume because we have to tailor according to the job description. So if you have any other skills that you want to say but don't want to mention because uh, we need to tailor with the description, you can create a simple personal website and you can attach in your resume, like top of the resume where you keep the LinkedIn links and all. I think that would be helpful because I am also trying to build a personal website right now.
Okay, it would be helpful if it's supporting what they want, okay? I want to pull you guys away from just putting information together just for the heck of putting information together. Remember, this is what I said earlier. And here's another observation that I have in my coaching with students. Students seem to think that the more information that they give, the more valuable you are, okay? I want to tell you that the people that you are intending this for are very busy. So if they did not ask for that information, they're not even going to look at it. Okay. So I'll go back to saying it's good supporting information. But to your point earlier about spending a lot of time, Lasya, I would probably spend my time more on focusing on what it is that they're looking for first and then have that supporting. Did that make sense, Nandini? Lasya's agreeing.
Yes, Barney. That makes a lot of sense because I think resume is the only thing they will check initially before selecting you for the upcoming rounds. Only when you have an interview is when they will look at portfolios and your GitHubs and all the other links that we can justify. And once we get a chance for the interview, we can justify even without the portfolios and other
Very
websites.
good. Exactly. Very good. Very good summary.
Okay, so just one comment on Nandini's case because even I'm from AI. So I feel for portfolio you can use LinkedIn. You can just keep it at your top thing, and basically what you would have to do is build AI projects and put it on GitHub. That's the easiest way to build your portfolio. So which I am also trying to follow because recently I came across one of the cases in which there was a person whose project was live. He got an offer whose project was live in a company which he was working with, and he wasn't like working with them, he was doing it in open source. So that is the level of what that is the level what people are following. So I think for AI and software engineering related, I think GitHub is a good option.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
So next thing which we are looking for are business relations and small talks. So as I said, for resume, we discuss many things. That is like the first step, or maybe the second step. You reach out first and then you give your resume. So the next thing would be business relations, for which we like we have to do cold emailing, we have to reach out to hiring managers through LinkedIn, whatever platform you're using, or if you have some, uh, you can reach out to software engineers or any specific people who you are targeting to be like, uh, just to increase your chances. So this would be the next topic. Bernie, over to you. Business
Yeah.
relations and small talks.
Did you want to cover the index and how to
Uh,
use it or how you've used it?
yes.
All right. I think it might be benefit, especially for Gabriel. Gabriel just joined the LinkedIn group, so that he doesn't necessarily. I think Sritej, you've been in the LinkedIn group for a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pushkraj, if you could go over the resources for business relations, and then I will add some more to whatever. And Lasya, I know Lasya's been studying this as well, so feel free to jump in. So go ahead, Pushkraj.
Give me a second.
Lasya on standby, because I know Lasya's studying this also. And I think Nandini, have you been in the LinkedIn group for a little bit? Studied business relations?
Yes, kind of. I recently joined the LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. You're in the same boat as Gabriel. Beautiful. So actually, this is good, Pushkraj, so that we can help Gabriel and Nandini some more. Lasya, Sritej, jump in with whatever Pushkraj is sharing as far as the resources in the LinkedIn group.
Sure.
Yes,
Sure.
sir.
Did you want me to start it, Pushkraj?
Yeah, if you can.
All right. So Gabriel and Nandini, when you go into the LinkedIn group, like I prepared this for the call and it disappeared. So when you go to the LinkedIn group and you are in home, for example, the easiest way to find it, well, I'll give you the hard way to find it, is just to type in Illinois Tech. Career services like this, okay? And then you want the groups, not the people. I actually sent this to you in your inbox, Gabriel and Nandini, if you're new. Once you're in the group, you can just say view posts. You can find the index by finding any comment in any post that you see out here. So you see that comment? I'm not even going to open it. I'm just going to scroll down until I see it. I see it right there. Or I see it in the next one. Okay, it's right there. Okay, you can click any iteration. It's going to take you to this page that essentially captures what the students are looking at. In this case, we're looking at business relations. When you click business relations, it opens up this document. And when you have this document, you can it's alphabetical in order. So hashtag denotes the topic. So it's alphabetical, starts with hashtag alumni. Here is hashtag business relations. Okay, so under hashtag business relations, Gabriel, you see this third part where it says connect code, connect practice, connect messaging. What that's talking about is when Pushkraj said earlier that you reach out to people and you connect with them, even if you don't know them. That's the beauty of this. We teach you how to reach out to strangers. So connect call, they're really just groups of messages. See, you see this connect messaging, and then you see this connect practice, and then you see this connect code. So these are all connect code are all suggestions on what to say when you start the initial conversation with these strangers. Connect practice are people that you can practice whatever is being taught in connect code. And then the end, connect messaging. These are this is telling you what to do, because we had students already who were making connections with the people that they wanted. And then their next question was, what the heck do I do now? So this part that talks about connect messaging tells you how to continue the conversation. And to the point that Pushkraj was creating earlier, it's about creating those relationships from scratch, because aside from the resume and getting the interviews, part of what gets you the job is to reach out to as many people, but more importantly, having relationships with more people, because that will help you get the job. Pushkraj, can you take over from there? Anything else to add?
Sure. Can you just like give an example for one of those?
Actually, the first example I would give is under connect code. I want to talk about the wrong way. So wrong way one. So Gabriel, Nandini, when you reach out to a hiring manager, the obvious thing for you to do and to say is exactly what this student said. Okay, number one, this is a hiring manager from Google, a very big company. And number two, this hiring manager just posted a job on LinkedIn. And this is what the student sent. So I know Lasia knows the answer because she just attended my workshop like a couple, 3 weeks ago. Gabriel and Nandini and even Sritej, why is this message not effective?
It's too long.
Very good. What else?
It's too general.
It's too general. Yes, it's general in that they're saying, you know, posted, and then that they said they had masters. Okay, I take that. What else?
And they asked, are you open to a quick chat to discuss the position? I don't
Exactly.
think they have so much time to chat with everyone who's interested.
Good job. Good job, Nandini. So what the student did, they did something that was intuitive. So when you start taking a look at like the different suggestions, they're very, very quick. And actually, the first time students take a look at the suggestions, they kind of gasp because it's like not from this world, if you will. Lasya, anything to add?
Yeah, so yesterday I went through Bernie sir's resources, and I also came to know that while we approach recruiters or any industry professionals, uh, we also need to think that what if we need to ask a question for ourselves, like what if they meet in person? Like, would you introduce yourself the ways the person that Bernie sir just told to like showed us? So we need to keep it simple. uh, we don't want everything to put at their face, and that makes us maintain a good relationship with the people.
Very good. Thank you. Sritej or Pushkraj, anything to add? Otherwise, I'm going to have questions from Gabriel or Nandini, if it's making sense. We just essentially pointed you to some resources in the index for business relations. So I'll go back to the beginning. You go to hashtag business relations, and then you take a look at the third bullet. It says connect call, connect practice, and connect messaging. And then I want you to, there's 2 videos here on business relations. The very first one, it says intro to, and it's recording. And then you see this part that talks about 106 applications, 12 internship offers. How would you like that to be you, Gabriel? How would you like that to be you, Nandini? So the reason I brought that up is under it, it says the power of business relationships recording. That's another recording that talks to you about what Pushkraj just introduced to you guys. And as you observed, Lasya, she kind of learned this information like almost a month ago, and she's been starting to apply it. I haven't heard from Sritej. Sritej, any comment?
Nothing right now, but
Helping?
Okay.
nothing.
All right, cool.
So, the next one would be when you introduce yourself. After you introduce yourself, you have to maintain that conversation. So, the most important thing in that is small talks. Because
Small
if you
talk.
just,
Okay, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. small talk may be a foreign concept if you are not US based, okay? So let me just share this. Have you guys noticed that when you go to the grocery store, some stranger just approaches you and talks about, oh, what did you think of the snow yesterday? Or if a sports team won, they start talking about something random, right? That is in the index. You could just go to, you do a control F, control F, and then you say hashtag American small. There it is. So here's some information for you guys. I want you to read up on this because it gives you the background to American small talk. Okay. So let me give you an example of American small talk, and I'm going to give you a real live example. Okay. That doesn't necessarily have to do with business. I mean, that doesn't have to do with job search, but I'll give you an example from me and my business. All right. So I have a financial education business. So I just spoke to, let me give you a real live understanding so that this makes more sense to you. And I'm shifting this information because I know Lasya has heard my previous examples. Pushkraj has heard my previous examples. So I'm going to give you something totally different, something that's current and something from a different field, if you will, but you will see applications in what you do. So this guy's name is Jonathan, let's see. No, Jonathan Edmond. So Jonathan Edmond, if you see his profile, I'm teaching you guys what to do. When you reach out to somebody who's a stranger to you, you need to understand what they're all about. Because if you know about them, then you can direct your conversation with them, all right? I'm going to kill my video because it's eating up resources, I think. It's still not working. You guys see the try again. I'm gonna go to the person's profile. You guys seeing what I'm seeing, right? I'm clicking on Jonathan Edmonds' profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It always fails when I'm trying to present. I may have to abort because it's not working. All right, so let me go to the example. Oh boy.
Maybe you can show it in the index too.
What's that?
Maybe you can show it on the index.
No, I can't because this is my personal example that I'm trying to show you guys so that you understand the value of creating small talk. So hang on. Let's do this again. So under my messages, so let me just give you the background without seeing his profile, okay? His name's Jonathan. So there was a connection with this guy, Jonathan. So I just want you to know how we created or how I started the conversation, all right? So there's this some guy just like you guys, okay, in the companies that you want. Let's just say it's Google, and then you found some data engineer at Google that you want to connect with, all right? So this goes back to, yeah, my bandwidth is hosed. Okay, if you guys notice, it goes back to November 12th, but it's not showing me the previous information. So this kind of sucks. So fine, I guess we don't have any choice. I'll just show you. Oh, hang on, it came back August 8th, 2023. Notice how what I'm trying to show you guys is a conversation can open, can close or whatever, but sometimes I'm not saying that just because the door closed that you cannot continue it. So notice how I started the connection with Jonathan back in August of 2023. So notice how I didn't necessarily go into my agenda. I was just being a human being, just greeting another human being. So I said, Jonathan, hope your August started well. In your case, you don't start talking about jobs, okay? And then he responds and he goes, it is, right? And then I say, thank you. I see we both work for Transamerica. And then he said, yes, okay, this Transamerica thing, I saw in his profile. So I was trying to look for background of relatedness. For you guys, the easiest thing for you to do is find an alumni who works at the company that you want. So just like I said, we both, you could say, hey, I see that we both went to Illinois Tech, right? Is where this is going. Gabriel and Nandini, is this making sense? You find some background of relatedness. And then if you notice, that was in August. There was time that lapsed. It doesn't have to be months, because in your case, you guys are looking for a job. It could be weeks. But I reopened up the conversation again, and I still didn't talk about myself. I said, how's 2025 going? So far, so good. He goes, how about you? So what you're doing is trying to have a conversation with another person, very, very different from what that student sent to that hiring manager at Google, right? What that student sent to the hiring manager at Google is what I like to call vomiting on somebody, right? They kind of like go, give them everything and they just throw up all over the other person. If you notice, what I'm trying to do is have a conversation with another human being. And then he said, how about you? And then I said, career fair at the university. And then I changed the topic. I said, ready for the snow? Okay. And then he goes like, that's exciting. Not really, wanted to get out. But if you notice, I accomplished what I wanted to. I'm just having a conversation with another person. Okay, I kind of like tell the person where I live. And then he said, not like I should do, need to do a better job. And then here's my ask. In your case, remember that part where that student was asking for 15 minutes of the hiring manager's time? Well, I'm making my ask for my business. So do you guys see the parallels? You guys are going to ask for their time, or you're going to ask about the job opening. If you notice, I established a relationship first before I had an ask. If you guys notice, some time elapsed. I connected with this person in August, and then this conversation is happening in January. I'm not saying that you guys have to have that long of a time to elapse. What I'm just pointing out is this doesn't have to happen all in one sitting. Any questions from the audience for anything that I've shared so far? Make sense?
Yeah, can you just put it in a direction in which we are approaching hiring managers?
So to do this for hiring managers, I will go into an example that I prepared for you guys earlier. His name is, he used to come to Illinois Tech and he learned the same things you guys are learning. His name is Mohammed Wasim, okay? The background for Wasim is that he learned business relations much, much more late in the game, okay? So in his case, he didn't have the time to build relationships just like I showed you, all right? So here. So if you connect with Mohammed Wasim, the issue when I tried to teach Wasim business relations at that point in time is he was very close to graduation and that he didn't really have time to build a relationship. So he has applied it where he went directly into his ask. So if you notice, here's his message, okay? So he said, one LinkedIn message changed everything for me. Like most job seekers, I was applying online, tweaking my resume, and waiting for responses, and then nothing happened. He said, so he decided to take a different approach. Instead of waiting, I sent one direct LinkedIn message, no long introduction, no desperation, just a short, clear message that got straight to the point, okay? I would kind of shift whatever Wasim did, but this is one specific case that worked because obviously this got Wasim in the door. So he said, hi, I came across the role at your company and was immediately drawn to it. I have an MS, so he's giving data as to what he did, 2 years of experience, again, data about what he can offer the company. In my current role, I analyze, visualize large sets of data. So he's saying he has experience with over 1 million records and all these technologies to identify business insights and saving opportunities. If I had the chance to redo this, obviously this already worked for Wasim, right? But I'm trying to tell you guys that you can tailor this and make this even much, much more effective by, he has the opportunity here in the beginning, where he says, I came across the role at your company and was immediately drawn to it. was immediately drawn to it, it's kind of like fluff to me. Just talk to them about why it makes sense. And what makes sense is what that person you're talking to needs. I would change that it immediately that Wasim was drawn to it. If I were Wasim, I would find something that they really, really wanted and talk about that. Okay. And then he said he had data. So this was good. He talked about he had masters, he had 2 years experience. And then in my current role, he kind of started to do this. I would talk about results, very similar to the discussion that we had, Nandini and Gabriel, with your resumes. And same with Sritej, right? You already have all these results in your resume. So what I would tweak in Wasim's case was talk about those results. And the more relevant it is to the job description, the more attractive it is to your target. Does that help?
Yeah,
Questions?
definitely.
So did that, thanks for redirecting that, Pushkraj. It made it more real for you guys. So just to summarize what we said, when you talk to people, establish the relationship first. Okay, but if you don't have time to establish the relationship, you could do a direct approach like Wasim did. Like he said, he had the right idea. He said, just go direct to the point. I would tweak his approach much, much better by going back to their job description and then talking about my results relative to their job description. And in the very short message, just give everything, the same idea that we have for the summary is what you send in that email. Make sense? Or LinkedIn message, because per Wasim, that was a LinkedIn message.
Okay.
I think we are close to the end of the call, so I guess I don't know how you want to close this up. I can stay longer if you guys need to.
Last point we want to cover is that about using tools and extensions like ChatGPT and Apollo.ai. So even for your resumes, even for your tailoring it according to your job descriptions, even for finding the emails of the hiring managers, we uh, obviously have to use all this because that's the new trend. And I don't know if you guys must have used it, but how to use it effectively, maybe Bernie, you would want to comment on that.
Just out of curiosity, how do people use ChatGPT for your job search? I'm just curious where you guys are at with it.
I never use it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Gabriel. Anybody else?
I don't use it for job search, but sometimes I use it to rephrase few paragraphs or messages
Okay,
more professional.
that's a good use. Last year, Sritej?
Same as Nandini told, I do the same thing. Just for tweaking the messages for like sending to the recruiters. Just tweak the
Okay,
messages.
so you're using it more like an editing tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, Pushkraj and Lasya, you were also part of that initiative, right? Where you reached out to companies and then you guys were,
Yeah, same like everybody. I just use ChatGPT for editing kind of purpose.
okay. For your editing, let me show you a different case. Share screen. So when you go to the index like this, you can just type in Control F. That. So you notice if you go through the index, a ChatGPT for elevator pitch, you got some content there that you guys can check out. You also have ChatGPT that you could use for your cover letter. Optimized bullet. When you work on your bullets to the point that Nandini, Sritej, and all you guys, Lasya, that you use it to optimize your bullets. There's some more material. in the index to use that. Okay, and I even created this impact using ChatGPT. This is actually a video that I put together. So just to the resources that you could use. Pushkraj, do you want to talk about how you were finding companies or contact people? Because otherwise, I have a business example that I use for my business that I can start looking for and share with you guys.
Yeah, I think
Pushkraj, do you have anything, or should I look
I
for
would
my
just say,
business example?
yeah, I would just say one statement that you can just type in, give me 5 startups in Chicago, and it'll give you. So that's how you can use it for finding companies too. 5 startups who are hiring right now for an AI engineer role, and it will give you. So you can explore those parts too. Yeah, over to you, Bernie.
Um, I wanted you to share about yours because my application again is obviously business for my business, but maybe you guys can get the idea based on what I share with you. Let's see. Here, Perplexity. I just used this. Um, so my target audience is small business owners, right? So if you notice my subject, I ask Perplexity if they can access phone owner information. In your case, you can get the phone information from the hiring managers, right? Let's see. Notice how I start this. I said, you're in a sales territory and I give the address. Can you find business owners' names and phone numbers? And then Perplexity goes, I cannot provide business owner names and phone numbers in 60616. And then it's giving me suggestions as to how to find it. But I know better as a human being. So I said, can you access data in Mergent Intellect? That's another database that has all these names. And then guess what? It says yes. It says, first, it tells me that it can't find it, and then I know that Mergent has that information. So I said, can you access data in this information? And it says it can find all this information. So I'm kind of playing smart with artificial, not so intelligent, because now I said, create a table with owner, phone number from Mergent Intellect for businesses with at least 5 employees or less. Are you guys kind of like getting the drift of how you don't just give it one question? I kind of play smarts with it because number one, it told me it couldn't find the information. And then guess what I said? Can you access information? Because it says it can access information that's publicly on the internet. And I said, can you access Google Business? And it says yes. So I said, good. So go find it. So how does that apply to your job search or apply to the question that I had to Pushkraj earlier? He kind of started with a simple phrase, but what I want you guys to get out of this discussion, it could be as elegant as you make it based on the prompts that you give AI.
Yeah, because
Questions, Gabriel or Nandini
So
or
I follow one
Pushkraj?
more method sometimes to get the email IDs or contacts. Generally, when I'm searching for jobs, I filter it based on posted date and I choose last 24 hours. So that gives me all the jobs was posted in last 24 hours. And sometimes what happens with the jobs, few recruiters will be open for messaging even if you're not their connection when they're hiring urgently. In that case, we'll have a chance to directly message them because they would only suggest us to message them if we are a good fit. So I make use of that. In case if we don't have an option to message the recruiter directly, I go to the company page, go to people, select US under location and HR under department. That will give list of all the HRs of that company. From there, I select my teams, maybe ML manager, HR or AI manager, recruiting, hiring manager, and then I message them or mail them in case if I want to. That's how I find the contacts on LinkedIn.
So you just use LinkedIn then?
Yeah, I just use LinkedIn to find
Okay,
the
cool.
contacts.
I thought you were asking AI to do this because the next question was which AI were you using? So you're essentially using LinkedIn as a search tool.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I
Thank
think
you.
that's a feature in LinkedIn Premium, right? Yeah, some
Okay,
of the people use it
I'm
for
glad you
outreach.
guys said that because I purposely don't use LinkedIn Premium because not everybody can afford it. So thank you for sharing that that's a LinkedIn Premium feature. Anything else to add, Lasya and Pushkraj?
Nothing as of now. Lasia, if you want to add anything, you can.
Or final questions, because we're coming to the end of the call. Did you guys learn anything? Was this helpful?
I have one last question about the summary to our advantage. And you said we have to put results. And I don't quite understand like the result stuff as a summary. I mean, okay, I have like the resume theory from France. And in France, they told us your summary, you just say who you are and what you want.
That's the old way of doing it. So I guess France is still doing the old way. Okay. The difference between before, because in the US, that was the same way it was done also, Gabriel. The problem is it's much, much easier to send resumes. And guess what? From the hiring manager's standpoint, they're flooded with information. So if you create a summary, the old way that it was done, I'm a highly motivated person, I'm a project manager, blah, 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 is generic information. If they're rushing through information, I think to your advantage, it would be better to start talking about what they wanted with the value that you can give them. Does that make sense?
Henceforth, in the summary, you advise that, okay, first, I just quickly present myself and I give result to fit the job description?
No, let me give you an example now. And I'm glad you asked it actually, because maybe Nandini and Shritaj can start doing this in their resume. So in the index, when you go to Control F #resume, there's this section that talks about, number one, you need to study this, all right? Gabriel, Nandini, and Shritaj, this part that says it's under #resume, and then it says resume design principles, okay? You need to study that document. What that does is it points you to all these workshops. These are also recordings, just like the recording that we're creating at the moment, okay? It talks to you about what to do. But to your point, Gabriel, let me give you an example of a freshman. So this was the freshman. When he came to career services, he's not a freshman anymore. But when he came to career services, he just graduated from high school. All right. So he didn't even have a summary. So this is case study number 5. When you guys tried to look for it after the call, this is case study number 5. Okay. If you take a look at this, oh, actually, he did have a summary. Oh, no, this is case study number 4. Oh, boy, a case study, old freshman. So he didn't even have a summary. And you notice how it's not necessarily standing out compared to the finished version. So notice this, Gabriel, just talking about education, skills, no summary, et cetera, et cetera. And then when he talks about his background, he's applying for internships for software development. But all his experience happens to be non-related to software development, okay? So after having a conversation, give them the same advice saying, you know, you need to study the job description, et cetera, et cetera. Take a look at the same person's resume. Realize that he's still a freshman from college, but take a look at the difference to the question that you just asked me, Gabriel. This is the same person. Computer science major who developed and programmed Java, HTML. He had projects in high school. He had some projects on the side. So when he starts talking about this relative to the job description that they're looking for, wouldn't you agree that this is much, much more powerful than saying, you know, I'm a very highly motivated student going for my classes in computer science? You see the difference, Gabriel? So you know where these points came from? They came from the bullets, kind of like Nandini and Shritaj had earlier. They had quantified bullets. So the summary actually was a collection of their strongest resume bullets. So instead of waiting until the reader gets to the bottom of the resume, they take advantage of the top of the resume in the summary section to start talking about the most relevant points that the reader is looking for. Does it make sense?
All right. So just to see if I well understood, I see a job description from the bullet I have in my work experience and project experience, or just work experience, it doesn't matter. I take the most relevant stuff considering the job description, and I summarize them in my summary to show that I am a good fit for the job description. Is that right?
To show that you are the best fit, not just that you're a good fit. Because guess what? Everybody who's applying, they're trying to show that they're the good fit. So your job is to show them that you are the best fit. You see the difference?
Yeah.
It's a different approach. Okay. So remember all those workshops that I showed you earlier? It goes more in depth into how you make that happen. So part of your homework, Gabriel, is to go through like 1 or 2 of those workshops, because we show you exactly how to do what you just summarized. More questions? No more questions? Helpful session. Pushkraj, take it home.
Yeah, I guess that's all. All the topics are covered.
We covered
But
everything. No final questions?
yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. We will be sharing the recording shortly. Plus, I'm going to summarize what I said earlier about the resume part so that we can address Gabriel, Nandini, and Sritej. I'm going to put it in the LinkedIn group also. And then if you have questions, connect with me on LinkedIn. You can send me your direct questions on LinkedIn. Thank you, Pushkraj, and thank you, everybody, for attending today's call.
Thank you all.
Very much.
Thank you for the great session. Thank you.